So your first Princess Cruise is coming up. How exciting. Here's everything you need to know before you set sail. Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm a travel agent that specializes in Princess Cruises, and today we're going to talk about the must-know things before you set sail on Princess. Cruising with Princess is amazing. It is definitely our favorite cruise line, but knowing a few important things can make your cruise even better. So first off, Princess is kind of a relaxed elegance to it. It's not a party cruise by any means. It is definitely not also a stuffy, formal cruise either. It definitely skews on more of the older side, but there are kids there as well, some families. But depending on what time of year you go and your destination, you might not have a lot of kids or you might have more kids. Definitely we saw more kids when we were, say, for instance, during our Christmas sailing than if we were for our Mediterranean sailing. So it definitely can matter depending on when you're going, but it definitely won't have that like party kids atmosphere. If that's what you're looking for, this is not the cruise line for you. But it's also not that like super posh formal event that is like, say for instance, Cunard. There's still formal nights, usually 2 per 7-day cruise. So keep that in mind, but it's more of like a dress to impress kind of night. It's not like a super formal night. So for some people, yes, they like to dress up in a tux and or a ball gown, that kind of like fancy outfit. But for most of us, we just dress up a little bit nicer on those nights. Dining on Princess for the main dining room. So the main dining room is included in your cruise fare, no matter what package you get, but it can go through 3 different types. You can have traditional dining, which means you have a set dining time where you have your set table for the same night every night with your same dining staff. This is what we've actually become very much liking, whereas before we were very much like never in the dining room, we were buffet people. But we like our traditional dining now where we are at the same dining table with the same wait staff every single night at the same time. Your other option is to have like a flexible dining time where you can just book whatever dining reservations you want. So you might do it the same time every night, but it's not as rigid as being like the 2 dining times that Princess offers, which is usually 5 p.m. or 7:30, depending on your sailing. Those tend to be the 2 times. So it's not as rigid as that. It could be you want to have dinner every night at 6:15, and you can do that for your entire sailing. Or you can be like, I want to have 6:15 this night, 7:15 this night, 5 p.m. this night, and you can have that variety. But you might not have your same wait staff or your same dining table. The third option is to have walk-in, so you just show up whenever your party is ready. So make sure you have everybody that you are eating with is there, and then they will seat you at the next available table. We did this on the group cruise because we had a different amount of people eating with us. Sometimes it was just the 3 of us. Sometimes there was 6 of us. Sometimes there was 5 of us. Sometimes it was just me and my daughter. So they definitely like to have that flexibility a little bit more when we're cruising with other people. Whereas when it's just me, my daughter, and my brother, we prefer the traditional dining. The entertainment on Princess is fantastic, especially their production shows. Their production shows are like top notch, especially if you have rock opera and Five Skies. Those are probably our favorites. We've even seen them multiple times because we just love them so much. And sometimes it's interesting to see them with a different cast. We've seen rock opera 3 times with 2 different casts. So definitely check out the production shows because they are fantastic. You're gonna have singers, you're gonna have dancers, and they are going to fill up fast. If you have the premiere package, you have reserved seating. Just make sure you show up at least 5 minutes before showtime. If you do not have for the premiere package, you do not have reserved seating. So you wanna make sure that you show up probably about 40 minutes to an hour ahead of time. We just bring a book to read and we just sit and relax while we wait for the show. You definitely want to get good seats because you don't want to miss out. And these are included in your cruise fare, so you might as well take advantage of having high quality shows. Something that we wish we had known on our first couple cruises was that you can sit and listen to music without buying drinks. We don't drink alcohol and we don't drink even sodas or anything like that. So for us, we get the standard package. And we thought that if we were going to a bar to listen to music, we had to buy alcohol or at least a non-alcoholic drink of some sort. And that just isn't our style. Thankfully, we found out that we didn't have to do that. So now we listen to music all the time. Our favorite is to go find wherever the piano bar is. So that usually is either Crooners or the Crown Grill bar, and hang out with them and listen to them every night, usually before dinner or sometimes it's later in the evening. And just relax. That's like our favorite thing. But we will order a glass of water that's free, or sometimes we will occasionally order a non-alcoholic drink, but We don't have to. There's no pressure to. You're welcome to sit and hang out no matter what. Another thing is even if a venue isn't open, say for instance, nothing's happening in Crooners is not open, you can still sit there. We had assumed that, oh, this bar is closed, we can't sit there. No, there's literally nothing stopping you from sitting there. We will go into venues to film and stuff like that, and we will sit in places even if the doors are closed, because my thinking is if the door opens, I'm allowed in there. Worst case, a crew member will be like, hey, you can't be in here. We've even had times where we've gone into the theater to film something, and then suddenly the cast is there about to do a rehearsal. It's like, whoops, okay, out we go. But mostly if you're not allowed to be somewhere, a crew member will tell you, or there'll be signs. Obviously, you're not going to get into some things when it's closed because it's locked. But for the most part, if you just want to go sit in a venue, like a bar or a lounge, and it's not actively open, you're welcome to do that. Like I said, worst case, somebody kicks you out. If you want to try out the specialty dining restaurants, so like Sabatini's or Crown Grill, those type of specialty restaurants fill up fast. So ideally what you want to do is you want to book them before you get on board. Dining reservations will open for you as soon as you've done your final payment. So you want to make sure that you book those dining reservations. If you have the Premier package, you have unlimited specialty dining. What will happen is you will pay up front for your specialty dining meal, and then Princess will reimburse you, give you onboard credit. My understanding, I have not had clients complain saying it's not refundable. So it should be refundable onboard credit that you receive. So that means at the end of your cruise, if you have not used it up, you then get the money back. Like I said, I haven't had any clients say that it's not non-refundable. So I'm going by what Princess has said and said that it is refundable. So if you want to go that way, you can do that. If you're like, no, I have the Premier package, or I don't want to make reservations in advance, that far in advance anyway, you're welcome to do so on board, but go on embarkation day. Don't wait around. There's lots of places that you can go to book dining reservations that just go to one of the restaurants. But there's plenty of crew around to help you with that. But make sure you book it like as soon as you get on board, because you don't want to miss out because you waited too long. If you are like me and you often are chilly, make sure you bring layers. I find the theater and some of the lounges get really, really cold in the evenings. Or if you're going up on deck to watch like movies under the stars, it will get windy even if you're in a hot destination like the Mediterranean or the Caribbean. You want to make sure you have a few layers. If you're in Alaska, you want to make sure you have plenty of layers. We around the ship tend to wear t-shirts, even on Alaskan cruise. My brother will wear a t-shirt and shorts even on Alaska cruise, and then we layer up as we go outside. For me, I prefer to have a sweater with me, especially in the evenings when we go to like the shows, because I just find that it gets way too chilly in the theater and in some of the lounges. If you're finding this video helpful, be sure to subscribe for more Princess Cruises specific tips, tricks, and advice. Don't make the mistake of overpacking. Your room will have plenty of storage, but space can be a little tight if you have multiple people, like we travel with 3 of us, or if you just are overpacking like crazy. Women, you don't need 700 pairs of shoes. Sorry, I'm just going to say that. I'm also a minimalist, so this is where overpacking I don't always quite understand, but you don't want to pack too much because then you're never going to actually wear it. If you're going on a 7-day cruise, you're not going to wear 21 outfits. Not going to happen. You don't need just in case stuff. Worst case, if you need something, you can almost always buy it in port. We do recommend bringing like a little medical bag where we usually keep like Advil and Pepto-Bismol and Tums and stuff like that, but you don't want to be packing like your entire first aid kit. A couple Band-Aids, okay. But you have medical services on board, you have the ability to buy stuff, you have the ability to buy stuff in port. If you're like, oh no, I forgot my belt, Jason, you can go and buy another belt. It's not that hard, but you want to make sure that you do have what you need. You just want to make sure that you're not overpacking. So do you need 20 belts? No. Do you need 1 belt? Yeah, shouldn't have forgotten that. Also, when it comes to evening wear, we wear the same thing usually for both formal nights. I'll sometimes wear 2 different outfits. Like if we're on a 7-day rotation, I'll wear 2 different outfits, but we often cruise for multiple weeks. So I'll wear those 2 outfits for the next time and the next time. And like, we just wear the same thing. My brother usually brings 1 formal wear outfit and he'll wear that every single formal wear. No one is like, oh my gosh, that person wore that same outfit last formal night. And if people are thinking that, let them, because honestly, they're worrying about the wrong thing on a cruise. We also tend to just wear the same thing multiple times. One thing we absolutely love with Princess versus some other cruise lines is the fact that there is laundry service. So you can either send out your laundry service, which is what we tend to do, or you can do the onboard like self-serve laundry, which is reasonably priced. Last I checked, it was $3 to wash, $3 to dry. It can get busy, especially on sea days, but this means you can pack less because if you're not too worried about just throwing in a load of wash, you're good to go. I highly recommend packing as few outfits as possible and just re-wearing stuff because then it just saves so much room in your stateroom and when you're dealing with luggage. Packages like the Plus and the Premier package can get a little confusing, so make sure you do your research ahead of time. We are going to be doing an updated version of our videos because Princess recently changed what's included in the Plus and Premier, and it's going to depend on when you booked your cruise. So I don't want to talk too much about it right now, but make sure you research about what you get in your package, because if you are cruising in 2026, it is very different than what you get when you're cruising in 2025. So you want to make sure you know what's actually included with your Plus or Premier package, or if you're like us and you cruise on the standard package, what does that actually include? If you used a travel agent, which is my recommendation, contact them because they should be able to give you that information. And if they're not, then you maybe want to look for a different travel agent. If you're in Canada or in most United States, I'm a Princess Cruises certified expert. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, make sure you have that information because you don't want to be like, I didn't know that this was included. You're paying for the package, so you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of that, because if you got, say, for instance, the Premier package, but you're not actually using the specialty dining, for instance, you're throwing your money away for some of these things. So make sure you have the right package for you and what's included in your package, so that way you can take advantage of some things. Also, make sure that you know your ship, or at least roughly some of the things that are on your ship. The ship class usually will help you out. For instance, if you're looking at a Royal class ship, we've been on the Sky Princess and the Discovery Princess. And so for us to then go on, say, Enchanted Princess, we kind of know what we're getting because they're the same class of ship with just a few little changes. So if you don't know anything about any Princess cruise ship because it is your first time, make sure you research into the ships. At least look at one that's in the same class so you can have a rough idea about layout, what restaurants they might have, that kind of thing, because you want to be able to know your ship before you get on board so you're not super overwhelmed once you get on. Make sure you do your research into your ports. Don't wait until you get to the port. Don't wait to book your excursions when you're on board. You don't want to miss out on the like must-do activities because you were like, oh, I didn't book my excursion yet until I got on board. You'll also pay more to book your excursions on board. If you're like, I kind of just want to show up and do my own thing, you're more than welcome to do that, but at least have an idea of what to look out for. Maybe check into taxi rates or like how to make sure that you're taking a safe taxi. Maybe look into some independent tours. We highly recommend Shore Excursions Group. There will be a link in the description. But we like them because they still have that guarantee to return to ship like Princess does, and they vet their vendors. So you're not just going to get off the ship and choose someone random to go with and you don't quite know what you're going to get. These are like actually like vetted vendors that they trust. So I highly recommend using either them or using Princess to do your shore excursions. We also like to do the hop on and off buses. Those are great in Europe. We've done a bunch of them in the Mediterranean this past summer, but they're also in like Norway and whatnot as well. They let you get a bit of a tour around the city without having to worry too much about getting like where to go and stuff, because they're going to hit up a lot of the major places within the city. Basically, you just want to make sure that you know what to expect at the port, so when you get there, you have a basic idea. One of our absolute favorite things about Princess is the MedallionClass system. So this is your medallion, your little medallion thingy that you're going to get instead of a Sea Pass card. It does so many things. You can open your door with it. You can order food with it. It does a lot. So make sure you check out this video here where we break down everything you can do with your medallion because it is incredible.